Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me Saira Mushtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. Government assures of availability of sufficient stock of oxygen in the country, says steps initiated to ensure supply of medical oxygen to affected states. Over 1 crore 28 lakh vaccine doses administered under Tika Utsav. Country reports over 2 lakh fresh COVID cases today. Weekend curfew to be imposed in the national capital. Uttar Pradesh Board 10th and 12th class exams postponed. In Chhattisgarh, an all-party meeting underway to discuss COVID-19 situation. First phase of Panchayat polls underway in 18 districts of Uttar Pradesh. Campaigning to end this evening for by-polls to the Lok Sabha and Assembly seats. 8 Pakistani nationals apprehended within Indian waters off Jakhau coast in Gujarat. Wholesale inflation rate rises above 7%. And in IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals to take on Delhi Capitals this evening. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, follow all precautions, and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Amid the growing demands for medical oxygen in the country, the government has assured that sufficient stocks of oxygen are available. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has informed that the present oxygen stocks are more than 50,000 metric tons in the country. It also informed that the country's daily production capacity of oxygen is more than 7,000 metric tons and the production capacity has further scaled up. The central government has asked the states to make rational use of medical oxygen and avoid wastage to fulfill the growing demands. The empowered group has also initiated action to ensure sufficient availability of medical oxygen. The government assured that surplus oxygen available with the steel plants is also being utilized as per the need. States have been asked to set up control rooms to ensure smooth supply of oxygen to the districts. The government has initiated several measures to ensure supply of medical oxygen to various affected states. Steps have been taken to increase production of medical oxygen, utilization of the surplus stocks available with steel plants, and mapping the requirements of states with oxygen sources. Mapping of the surplus sources with states that have greater need for oxygen such as Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi is being finalized in consultation with manufacturers, states and other stakeholders. Corona cases are increasing rapidly in the country. The rapid rise in the COVID-19 cases has increased the active caseloads in the several states and union territories. As a result, the recovery rate is declining in India. However, the vaccination drive is progressing smoothly in various parts of the country. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has informed today that over 11 crore 44 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered to beneficiaries so far. In the last 24 hours, over 33 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been inoculated to beneficiaries. The ministry further informed that a record number of over 2 lakh new cases have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours. With this, cumulative positive cases crossed the 1 crore 40 lakh mark. This is the first time that the country has registered over 2 lakh new cases in a single day since the outbreak of the pandemic in the country. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said there are more than 14,71,000 active cases in the country, which comprises 10.45% of the total positive cases. In the last 24 hours, a total of 1,038 deaths have been reported in the country, taking the toll to over 1,73,000 across the country. Amid the rising new cases, the recovery rate has further declined to 88.31%.
The clarion call given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi of observing a 4-day special vaccination drive in the form of Tika Utsav culminated yesterday with over 1 crore 28 lakh vaccine doses administered to eligible beneficiaries. We have more from our correspondent.
Tika Utsav saw many workplace vaccination centers operational across the private and public workplaces. In a span of 4 days, the nation also witnessed remarkable scaling up of number of functional COVID vaccination centers. With the mantra given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to achieve complete utilization of resources, nearly 20,000 additional vaccination centers on an average were added in addition to the existing 45,000 centers. The vaccination program, which earlier recorded lower turnouts on weekends, witnessed heavy footfalls even on Sunday, where on first day of this vaccination drive, more than 27 lakh doses were administered. With over 33 lakh doses of vaccine being administered yesterday, 3 states in the country, namely Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan, have till now given more than 1 crore doses to the eligible beneficiaries. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
The Delhi government has stepped up its efforts to deal with the unprecedented rise in COVID-19 cases in the national capital. The Delhi government has imposed weekend curfew in the capital city, which will begin at 10 p.m. this Friday and will last till 6 a.m. on Monday. Briefing the media in the capital, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today informed that malls, gymnasiums, spas will remain completely closed in the city, whereas cinema halls have been directed to function as 30% of their capacity. He also assured the citizens that the situation in the city is under control and urged the people not to insist for admission into any particular hospital during this time of the pandemic. The Delhi government has also directed hospitals to increase the number of beds designated for COVID patients. The Chief Minister today reviewed the COVID situation in a meeting with Lieutenant Governor of Delhi and the Health Minister.
The rapid rise in COVID-19 cases has prompted the Delhi government to further intensify its efforts to curb the spread of infectious disease. Delhi government has decided to impose weekend curfew in the national capital. Curfew passes will be given to people working under essential services and to other people for special needs. Following today's meeting, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announced that more than 5,000 hospital beds are still available in the capital. Moreover, hospitals have been instructed to increase the bed capacities for COVID patients by attaching nearby banquet halls and hotels. Bhupendra Singh, AIR News, Delhi.
In Chhattisgarh, an all-party meeting is underway to discuss the situation arising out of COVID-19 and measures to be taken for its prevention. The virtual meeting is being held in the presence of Governor Anusuya Uike and Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. The meeting has been called by the state government to share details regarding steps taken by the government so far and to invite suggestions to curb the spread of the infection. In Gujarat, Sri Swaminarayan Mandir Atladara in Vadodara, run by BAPS, has started a dedicated COVID hospital in its temple complex. According to the sources, the makeshift hospital has 500-bed facilities with piped oxygen lines and liquid oxygen tanks. The facility of ICU and ventilators will be set up in the coming days. Our correspondent reports that the drive-through RT-PCR test facility started in Ahmedabad received good response. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
The drive-through RT-PCR test facilities set up by the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has collected more than 2,200 samples on the first day. According to the sources, the 10 counters for cars and 2 for walk-in facilities have been set up in partnership with a private laboratory. Apart from cars and cabs, the people in 3-wheelers and 2-wheelers also turned up for RT-PCR tests. This facility has eased the increasing burden on government and private labs for RT-PCR testing. The drive-through RT-PCR test facility is available during 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at GMDC ground of Ahmedabad. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
With relentless increase in COVID cases in Mumbai and growing demand of hospital beds, the BMC has decided to convert Jaslok Hospital into a dedicated COVID hospital. With this, the hospital will cater only to COVID patients. BMC Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal said that it is observed that many beds in private hospitals are occupied by patients who do not require emergency medical intervention. He said such patients can be effectively and adequately managed at isolation facilities such as step-down facilities. We have a report from our Mumbai correspondent.
The BMC said that if such patients are shifted to a step-down facility where minimum medical intervention is required, more number of oxygenated ventilator beds will be available to the patients in need. The BMC said such beds will help initiate treatment on time and reduce the fatality rate. The step-down facilities can be set up with active participation of major private hospitals. The BMC and major private hospitals will jointly identify closely located 4 and 5-star hotels and initiate linkage for setting up of step-down facilities with these hotels. Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar said patients who have recovered should go to step-down facilities and those in actual need should be provided hospital beds. The BMC said at present some 4 and 5-star hotels have shown willingness to set up step-down facilities. The Bombay Hospital has been linked with the Intercontinental Hotel and HN Reliance Foundation Hospital has been linked with the Trident Hotel at Bandra Kurla Complex. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport, CSMIA, has decided to reconsolidate all domestic passenger flights currently operating via Terminal 1. The decision has been taken in view of the pandemic situation. The CSMIA said, with effect from 21st of April 2021, it will be conducting all international as well as domestic flight operations through its iconic advanced Terminal 2. It said, all passengers of Go Air, Star Air, Air Asia, TrueJet and Indigo are requested to get in touch with the respective airlines for further queries. The CSMIA further said that the airport is strictly adhering to all guidelines laid down by the Ministry of Civil Aviation as well as the Government of Maharashtra.
The Maharashtra government today postponed the exams of medical students to June. The exams conducted by the Maharashtra Medical Science University were to commence from the 19th of this month. Informing about the postponement of exams, Medical Education Minister Amit Deshmukh said the decision was taken after holding consultations with Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. He said the timetable of the exams will be announced by the university. The high school and intermediate examinations of the Uttar Pradesh Board, Asia's largest education board, has been postponed again. In the wake of the growing corona cases in the state, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath made this announcement after meeting with senior officials. He directed to postpone the exams till the 20th of May and new timetable of the examination will be released after meeting of higher officials in the first week of May. All schools from Class 1 to Class 12 will also remain closed till the 15th of May in the state. Many parent organizations were demanding to postpone the exams since COVID cases are on the rise. 17 out of 19 officials responsible for conducting the UP Education Board examination have tested positive for COVID. This year, over 56 lakh students were slated to undertake the State Education Board examinations for classes 10th and 12th from May the 8th. The board exams, which were scheduled to begin from April the 24th, were earlier postponed due to the three-tier panchayat polls in the state.
Ladakh reported the highest number of daily cases ever since the inception of the COVID pandemic in the region. Our late correspondent reports 208 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. A report.
Ladakh crossed 1,000 mark of active cases in this season. With report of 208 new cases yesterday, the total number of active cases now stands at 1,051. With receding of cold weather and starting of outdoor working season, the arrival of people has increased and administration is screening all the arriving passengers at the KBR airport in Leh. 2,043 passengers have been screened for COVID-19 at the airport yesterday. On the other hand, as the number of cases on the rise, the Leh District Deputy Commissioner Srikant Suje inspected facilities at COVID Care Center in Leh. With Ramesh Chandra, this is Youngton Dolma for Air News from Leh, Ladakh.
The government today termed as fake a picture doing rounds on various social media platforms in which it is being claimed that lockdown will be imposed across the country between 15th and 30th of April. In a tweet, Press Information Bureau clarified that no such announcement has been made by the centre. It urged the people not to share such misleading pictures and messages. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government assures of availability of sufficient stock of oxygen in the country, says steps initiated to ensure supply of medical oxygen to affected states. Over 1,28 lakh vaccine doses administered under Tika Utsav. Country reports over 2 lakh fresh COVID cases today. Weekend curfew to be imposed in the national capital. Uttar Pradesh Board 10th and 12th class exams postponed. In Chhattisgarh, an all-party meeting underway to discuss COVID-19 situation. First phase of Panchayat polls underway in 18 districts of Uttar Pradesh. Campaigning to end this evening for by-polls to the Lok Sabha and Assembly seats. 8 Pakistani nationals apprehended within Indian waters off the Jakhau coast in Gujarat. Wholesale inflation rate rises above 7%. And in IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals to take on Delhi Capitals this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. The election campaign for the by-elections of 2 Lok Sabha seats, including Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh and Belgaum in Karnataka, along with 13 assembly constituencies spread over 10 states, reaches a peak before its conclusion this evening. The assembly constituencies going in for the by-poll simultaneously with the 5th phase of ongoing assembly elections in West Bengal include 3 in Rajasthan, 2 in Karnataka and 1 each in Gujarat, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Mizoram, Odisha, Telangana and Uttarakhand. There are 161 candidates in the fray for 13 assembly seats, indicating largely multi-cornered contests. In Andhra Pradesh, there are 28 candidates vying for the Tirupati Lok Sabha seat. In Karnataka, there are 10 candidates contesting for the Belgaum Lok Sabha seat. As far as the assembly by-polls are concerned, 12 candidates are vying in Basava Kalyan and 8 are contesting in Maski constituency. In Madhya Pradesh, there are 22 candidates, including 16 independents, contesting for Damoh assembly seat. In Maharashtra, total 19 candidates, including 10 independents, are in the fray for the Pandharpur assembly seat. In Rajasthan, 10 candidates are contesting in Rajsamand, while 9 candidates are in the fray for Sujangarh and 8 are there in Sahara Assembly constituency. In Telangana, maximum 41 candidates are in the fray for the Nagarjun Sagar Assembly seat, including 3 women and 27 independents. In poll-bound West Bengal, the high-decibel electioneering campaign for the 5th phase of Assembly elections concluded last evening. During the 5th phase of state Assembly elections, 45 Assembly seats spread over 6 districts of West Bengal will go to polls on the 17th of April. The Election Commission decided to increase the silent period of the campaign for this phase by 24 hours, and as a result, the campaign ended a day before its scheduled closure. This decision was taken after the mob storming and firing incident at polling station number 126 in Shitolkuchi Assembly constituency in Cooch Behar district during the 4th phase of polling last Saturday. The election campaign is gaining momentum for the 6th phase, with the prominent leaders of different political parties engaging in whirlwind tours for canvassing in favour of their candidates. In all, 43 assembly constituencies spread over 4 districts of West Bengal will go to polls in this phase on the 22nd of April. The campaign has also picked up now for the 7th as well as the 8th and final phase of the assembly elections in West Bengal. In all, 36 assembly constituencies spread over 5 districts will go to polls in the 7th phase on the 26th of April, while remaining 35 assembly constituencies spread over 4 districts will go to polls in the 8th phase on the 29th of April. The counting of votes will be taken up together on the 2nd of May.
In Orissa, polling for the by-election to Pipli Assembly constituency has been postponed following the death of the Congress candidate in the fray yesterday. Briefing the media in capital Bhubaneswar a short while ago, the Chief Election Officer Sushil Kumar Lohani said that the Election Commission of India has been informed about the same. He said the Election Commission will issue a fresh notification in this regard.
Addressing the press meet, the Chief Election Officer said that following the notification, the aggrieved party will be allowed 7 days' time to file fresh nomination to contest the by-election. The Election Commission will also issue a fresh schedule to this effect. Polling for the Pipili Assembly seat has been postponed by the returning officer following the death of Sri Ajit Mangaraj, the Congress candidate, yesterday. Voting for the Assembly seat was set to be held on the 17th of this month. Girish Chandradas, AIM News, Bhubaneswar.
In Mizoram, poll campaigning for the by-election to the Serchhip Assembly constituency will end at 4 this afternoon. All major parties have intensified their campaigning since the last few days. Election officials said that 6 candidates, including 1 independent, are in the fray for the election to be held on the 17th of this month. According to the political observers, the by-poll to the Serchhip seat is likely to witness a triangular fight amongst the ruling Mizo National Front (MNF), main opposition Zoram People's Movement (ZPM), and the Congress. The by-poll was necessitated when the incumbent MLA Laltuhoma of ZPM was disqualified as the legislator under the anti-defection law in November last year.
In poll-bound Darjeeling district, polling personnel have started their journey today for the poll stations located in far-flung areas. These 3 booths are located at Srikhola, Daragaon and Ramam. Polling at 3 districts of North Bengal, including Darjeeling, will be held on Saturday. A report.
The 5th phase of election in North Bengal has seen the participation of several high-profile campaigners. Senior BJP leader and Home Minister Amit Shah, TMC Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, and Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi campaigned for their party candidates. There are 104 candidates in the contest for 13 seats at Kalimpong, Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri districts. TMC Minister Gautam Dev, CPIM legislator Ashok Bhattacharya, Congress MLA Sukhvilas Verma and BJP legislator Neeraj Jimba are among some of the important candidates in the fray in the 5th phase. Meanwhile, arrangements are being made by the district administrations to ensure free, fair and safe polls. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Karsiong.
Voting for the first phase of Panchayat elections is proceeding peacefully in 18 districts of Uttar Pradesh. People, especially the first-time voters, are very enthusiastic in casting their votes. State Election Commission has informed that voter turnout was 21% till 11 a.m. Despite the scorching heat, people in long queues are being seen at the polling centres. Voting started at 7 this morning and will continue till 6 in the evening. Strict adherence to the COVID protocol during the polling have been issued by the State Election Commission because of the growing COVID cases in the state. More than 3 crore 18 lakh voters are expected to exercise their franchise in 18 districts and 51,179 polling booths have been prepared for this. Manoj Kumar, Commissioner, State Election Commission, has given directions to the District Election Officer of poll-bound 18 districts to strictly follow the COVID protocol at the polling centres. During polling, the voters will have to wear masks and maintain social distancing. Instructions have also been issued to make circles at a distance of 6 feet at the polling centres. The Uttar Pradesh Panchayat elections are being held in 4 phases on the 15th, 19th, 26th and 29th of April, while the counting of votes will take place on May the 2nd.
The Tamil Nadu government has said that arrear exams for college students will be conducted in May. This was stated at the Madras High Court by the Advocate General Vijay Narayan. The government had cancelled the arrear exams last August and ordered that those who had paid the fees for the arrear exams will be considered as passed. But after an appeal came up for hearing, the first bench, comprising of Chief Justice Sanjeev Banerjee and Justice Senthil Kumar Ramamurthy, ordered that the exact number of such students be submitted to the court. On hearing the statement by the UGC that there was no order stating that the exams should be cancelled, the first bench then agreed to the argument and ordered the government to conduct the exams within 8 weeks. In Gujarat, the Anti-Terrorist Squad ATS of State Police and Indian Coast Guard have apprehended 8 Pakistani nationals with a Pakistani boat within Indian water territory off the Jakhau coast. In a joint operation, the ATS and Coast Guard have also seized 30 kilograms of heroin worth 150 crore rupees in the international market. Operation was carried out following the information received by the ATS and Special Operation Group SOG of Devbhoomi Dwarka District Police regarding ferry of drug consignment. As the area was under the Coast Guard jurisdiction, the operation was executed jointly.
In Jammu and Kashmir, Indian Army, Border Security Force along with the police have foiled a narco smuggling and infiltration attempt in forward areas of Tangdhar sector in Kupwara district and recovered 10 kilograms of narcotics. It is estimated to be priced about 50 crore rupees. The defense spokesperson said smugglers were spotted carrying the narcotics along the line of control on Tuesday night and challenged the smugglers, probably accompanied by Pak-based terrorists. The spokesperson said a brief exchange of fire consequently took place in which one JCO of Indian Army sustained minor injuries. The detailed search in the morning led to recovery of the narcotics haul. However, the infiltrators managed to escape. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted people on the occasion of Poila Boishakh. In a tweet today, the Prime Minister said the love of life and fervour of celebration that one sees in the people of Bengal are truly heartening.
Wholesale inflation rate in the country zoomed above 7%, driven by an increase in prices of fuel, food and manufactured goods. As per the provisional data released for the month of March by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade of the Commerce Ministry, the annual rate of WPI inflation stood at 7.39% for the month of March over the corresponding period last year. However, month-on-month rate of inflation stood at 1.57%. The Sensex and the Nifty today were trading lower in afternoon trade amid mixed global cues. After opening over 200 points higher, the Sensex at Bombay Stock Exchange had lost 98 points or 0.2% to trade at 48,446 a short while ago. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange was down 25 points or 0.2% at 14,480 when reports last came in.
In IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals will take on Delhi Capitals at Wankhede Stadium, Mumbai. The match will start at 7:30 p.m. Last night, Royal Challengers Bangalore beat Sunrisers Hyderabad by 6 runs at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi is likely to have a partly cloudy sky. The maximum temperature will be around 39 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature was recorded at 21 degrees. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. The maximum temperature expected to be around 35 degrees. Minimum temperature was recorded at 26. Chennai is expected to have thunderstorm with rain. The maximum temperature is expected to be 35 degrees Celsius. The city has recorded a minimum temperature of 23 degrees. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will rise from a minimum of 27 to a maximum of 39 degrees. Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain and temperature will hover between 8 and 12 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees while the maximum will be around 34. Leh is expected to have generally cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 1 degree Celsius while maximum will be 10 degrees. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will move from a minimum of 11 to a maximum of 25 degrees. Muzaffarabad is also likely to have thunderstorms with rain and maximum temperature will be around 25 degrees. Minimum was 14 degrees. A new study by an international team of researchers says Africa's largest coffee-producing nation, Ethiopia, will be producing less specialty coffee and more rather bland-tasting varieties in the future. It said climate change has conflicting impacts on coffee production in Ethiopia. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government assures of availability of sufficient stock of oxygen in the country. Says steps initiated to ensure supply of medical oxygen to affected states. Over 1 crore 28 lakh vaccine doses administered under Tika Utsav. Country reports over 2 lakh fresh COVID cases today. Weekend curfew to be imposed in the national capital. Uttar Pradesh Board 10th and 12th class exams postponed. In Chhattisgarh, an all-party meeting underway to discuss COVID-19 situation. First phase of Panchayat polls underway in 18 districts of Uttar Pradesh. Campaigning to end this evening for by-polls to the Lok Sabha and Assembly seats. 8 Pakistani nationals apprehended within Indian waters off Jakhau coast in Gujarat. Wholesale inflation rate rises above 7%. And in IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals to take on Delhi Capitals this evening. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.